Have you heard about TASA?
Well, I know it's the Taiwanese Aerospace Agency.
Why do you know?
When you work in ESA, have you seen any products from Taiwan?
Actually, many. If I'm not mistaken, the Taiwanese Space Agency is a member of.
Hello， 大家好，我是阿关。我现在来到的是欧洲的太空总署 ESA， 它在全世界有20几个成员国，有8个办公室。我现在位于呢是里面最大的办公室，它是在荷兰，叫做 MEDIAX。今天我们要来访问 ESA 的员工，他们平常工作内容是什么？工作的时候有看过什么东西是 Made in Taiwan？ 有没有听过台湾太空 TASA？ 要有什么样的特质才可以来这边工作呢？最后还有他们被问到应该是最烦的问题，就是到底有没有外星人跟幽浮的存在？就让我们看下去吧。首先我们遇到第一个太空总署的员工，他非常的特别，他是一只猫，先让我们来访问他。他叫 Mickey。How long have you been working in ESA? How do you like working here? 他是在 ESA 非常有名的猫咪，他有自己的粉丝专页，所以大家可以去看他的粉丝专页。我这次请到一个在 ESA 很特别职位的人。This is Asta. So Asta, can you tell us what department in ESA are you working now?
I'm currently working in Human Resources Department of the European Space Agency, and my current role is Human Resources Advisor.
What professional fields are ESA looking for most talent in?
ESA is a technical and scientific organization at its core. When we look for people to join ESA, we look the background in engineering or science, such as applied mathematics, astrophysics, meteorology. Also, we need people who would support ESA's business and administration processes. So we look for with expertise in procurement, law, human resources, finance. It's quite a broad range of profiles that ESA actually is in demand.
Diploma is important, like they must be graduated from master, PhD.
Professional positions, master degree is required. For some positions, even PhD could be required, but this is more for scientific, a bit higher grade.
What would you tell Taiwanese people if they would like to work in space field?
If you have genuine interest, if you are driven by curiosity and desire to learn, my advice would be don't overthink, dare yourself and go for it.
Go for it.
我找到一位在 ESA 非常资深的工作人员。Can you introduce yourself briefly?
I'm Zoran Sotnik. I'm working for the European Space Agency since, 30 years already. And I'm an optical communications technology manager in the Telecom Directorate.
Wow, 30 years already?
Yeah, 30 years.
Can you explain what do you do in ESA?
When I started, I was working in the technical directorate, and I was very lucky at the time to be in charge of an optical ground station, which is a 1-meter telescope that has been built in Tenerife in Spain. So I'm traveling quite often, or I used to be traveling quite often to Tenerife and installing instruments, doing satellite experiments. So I'm doing optical communications, and this is a pretty new way of communicating with satellites because the bandwidth with normal radio is becoming very scarce. The future generations will definitely use optical laser links in order to transmit data. And this is what I'm doing.
Have you ever applied to be an astronaut?
No. I would have loved. If I had the opportunity to become an astronaut, I would have done it, but I never applied.
For people working in ESA, it's difficult to be an astronaut?
Oh, it is. It is as difficult as for anybody else because you need special skills. You need to have a certain mindset. You have to have a certain attitude. You have to be good in a lot of things. And that combination doesn't happen so often. So ESA is calling for astronauts, and in the last call, I think 30,000 actually applied.
Wow.
And they are now down selecting 5 or 6 or 7. So you see, and they're not selecting ESA people. They're calling all over Europe for the astronaut corps. So it is difficult.
When you work in ESA, have you seen any products from Taiwan?
Not very much, I have to say, because Taiwan is not part of ESA, of the European Space Agency. So we have one associated member, which is Canada, but which is also not in Europe, of course, but they are associated. They work with ESA, but Taiwan is not associated. So I have no connections with, unfortunately, with Taiwanese companies or Taiwanese space agencies.
What about when you order some parts like devices and you can see like, oh, made in Taiwan?
I'm happy to get something, of course.
Have you heard about TASA?
No, I haven't. Maybe indirectly through my work that I did for a while in CCSDS, which is the Consultative Committee for Standardization in Space. There we are standardizing optical communications. And there, if I'm not mistaken, the Taiwanese Space Agency is a member of.
Whoa. Working in ESA for over 30 years, what's the most annoying question you get?
I wouldn't know of an annoying question. You know, the annoying questions are the ones that you cannot answer. You should be able to answer, but you don't know what the answer is. That's annoying. But fortunately, I didn't experience one of those.
What about like alien and UFO question? It's annoying, right?
You know, it's not annoying at all. I don't believe in them, so I would just say no way.
You don't believe existence of aliens?
I don't believe in aliens that landed on the Earth. That there are probably life forms in the universe, I'm pretty sure about, because the universe is so monstrous. But any have landed on the Earth, I don't believe in that.
Okay. Can you tell Taiwanese people who would like to work in astronomy field, tell them something?
I would always say, follow your dreams. Whatever you do, follow your dreams. Whatever is your passion, go for it.
This is Vim. Can you tell me how many years you work in ESA?
I don't work at the moment anymore. I'm retired, but I have worked exactly 30 years for ESTEC.
Wow. What was your position in ESA?
The first 10 years I worked in the technical directorate, overall checkout system, check out the satellites during the integration and before launch. After all, I worked very much on the Columbus module, ESA contribution to the space station.
Wow. Have you ever had any project with NASA?
Columbus is part of the space station. I did a lot of meetings together with NASA and the Russians.
When you work in ESA, have you seen any products or some devices made from Taiwan?
I know that there are a lot of components coming from there.
Do you know about TASA?
Sound familiar, but I don't know what it is.
Okay, it's called Taiwan Space Agency.
I had the feeling that it was that.
Yeah, before it was called National Space Organization, NSPO, started from 1991. During your work, what is the most annoying question you get? If people ask, oh, do you believe in aliens?
No. It could be that there is some form of life. Should be very strange if there is life that it develops exactly in the same way in men and women.
So they will be like creature, but not like a man or woman.
No.
What do you want to say to some Taiwanese people who want to work in astronomy field?
If you have the opportunity, really do it.
Just do it.
后面这就是 ESA， 所以这地方叫做 Escape。那如果你没有允许的话，你是没有办法进去的。然后有看到那边很多国旗，那些国旗就是 ESA 成员国。那我们现在是要去这里的博物馆，它叫做 Space Expo。后面这个巴士，就是如果你有多付票的话，你可以搭这个巴士进去 ESA。现在我们要看国际太空站1:1的模型。吓到我。This is how people sleep on the space.
Yes.
站着睡觉。这是他们的厕所。啊，这个尿尿，这个大便。这个呢，就是有访问到他已经退休了，然后他以前有参与国际太空站这个地方的制作，这个地方是属于欧洲的。他说他之前有跟俄罗斯他们合作嘛，那这个地方就是属于俄罗斯的，也可以看到这个东正教。然后这个地方就是可以跟其他太空站的部位连接的地方。他们做实验的地方，这地方叫库珀拉，它是全部太空站里面唯一一个是可以看到外面的地方。This is Paul. Paul, can you tell us what is your position in ESA?
I'm an optoelectronic engineer, and I'm responsible for the LiDAR developments from the photonic section. Basically, I work for pushing the new LiDAR that will be implemented in future missions.
Have you ever had any project with NASA?
I have some collaborations in some missions. For example, I work in the Hera mission, and it's a double spacecraft mission to this asteroid system. And the first spacecraft was built by NASA, and they sent their spacecraft and crashed into the asteroid 1 year and a half ago. And we will launch next year. So let's say working shoulder by shoulder.
You go to watch the launch that day?
I watch it as probably most of people YouTube. Yeah.
Have you ever applied to be an astronaut?
Yes, I did.
You did? How did it go?
Well, so I passed a couple of rounds. So basically, I filled all the documentation, and then they called me to Hamburg for the first tests, some psychological and knowledge tests, and then I didn't went forward to the next round. But it was quite interesting, yeah.
Wow, it's hard to be an astronaut?
Very hard. You have to be in a tip-top physical, psychological condition, and you have to have very specific expertise. Obviously, they don't select individuals; they select a team. For MISA, normally, I think every 10 years there's an opening, and it's all normally a team of 6 people. So they normally select one physicist, one biologist, one doctor, one pilot. So they will not select you or not select you by yourself, but as a global when they put you in a configuration. So yeah.
When you work, have you seen any products from Taiwan?
I also work with I'm trying to push for SLM technologies, so liquid crystals for studying optical beams. All the basic components that ensemble the SLMs are actually coming from Taiwan. So I think that we have some companies in Europe that do these devices, but I think they buy the, let's say, the liquids and the components from Taiwan. So yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Have you heard about TASA?
Well, I know it's the Taiwanese Aerospace Agency.
Why do you know?
Well, because I know you and I follow them in LinkedIn. I don't know much the projects that they have, but yeah, I know.
Oh, thank you. When you work in ESA, people that are not work from ESA, so they ask like, oh, you work for the space. So maybe they ask you some question and you feel like, oh, stop it.
No, I think all the questions are interesting. I think it's just nowadays with the aliens, UFOs thing, a lot of people keep thinking that it's a true thing. When some people ask you too much, like, where are the UFOs or aliens at work? And you try to give them a logical explanation, but they don't want to really listen. But yes, all the questions are valid. So even those, I don't mind to just discuss if it's or not actually, or if we ever had or not contact with intelligent life outside of the planet.
So you believe in aliens?
I don't believe we did contact with intelligent life. I believe probably there's some life as the definition of life, and smart, intelligent or not, I don't know, maybe. Statistically it's possible, but we don't know yet. We will know maybe one day.
Yeah, one day.
Can you tell us what do you do in ESA?
I'm working optoelectronics section, which dealing with the optical elements like LiDARs, lasers, but mostly I'm focused on optical communication field.
Can you tell us your background, like your career path? What did you study before?
I study electronics engineer, bachelor and master studies, but now I'm working the optoelectronics section, and it's more optics than electronics actually. I believe everybody can slightly change their field.
And when you work in ESA, have you seen any products from Taiwan?
Actually many, like quite commonly I purchase mostly the small components, power circuits, boxes, screws, all kinds of small elements. Big systems, laser modules, most likely need to be from Europe, suppliers. Unit as a device usually is made in Europe, but if we order some small parts, very commonly it's from Taiwan.
Have you ever heard about TASA?
I never worked with them, but I heard the name, not the first time, and actually just by coincidence, a few weeks ago I saw that TASA launched their small satellite with European rocket. So European provides like a service to launch satellites into space, and TASA seems like they book one of the seat. It happened like a few weeks ago. It was a successful launch. Now one of TASA satellites is in space.
Do you have something to tell Taiwanese people if they want to work in the space field?
The space industry is quite big. So like in Europe, main company is Airbus, and there are a number of different companies. They are producing space equipment, not only rockets, but all kind of small parts of satellites, optical terminals, radio receivers, modulators. So if people are interested in the space business, like it's not only rockets, there are so many.
So they can aim for that kind of place to work to start, right?
Yes.
这是我的一小步，这是人类的一大步。
这个是模仿在月球上面的月球引力。I'm too heavy, baby. 我太重了。
火箭模型，然后它是全世界有载过最多人上太空的火箭。好晕！我要回地球了。看 ，They should put a pillow behind。
很荣幸有机会可以采访太空总署的员工，想不到在 ESA 也可以见到台湾的元件。这次采访让我更深入了解欧洲太空总署的员工，并强调了国际合作和知识分享在太空领域的重要性。希望访谈中的建议能对想进入这个领域的人有帮助，也希望台湾的国家太空中心可以在未来与世界有更多的合作。这次是接到点子新闻特派员的角色，接下来会有一系列的欧洲企划，请大家敬请期待。喜欢这个影片的话，别忘了
请订阅、分享。
再见。
再见。
如果你也想成为下一位爆红创作者，请打开下方资讯栏连结，一起来投稿吧。